Hey there everyone, I'm back again with another video. We are at the end of week 3, or the beginning of week 4, however you want to see it. And yeah, our league starter build is finished. I know a lot of people by this point, their league might actually be over. I myself tend to be like a 1 or 2 build Andy, and I tend to play for like a month to a month and a half, and then I kind of peter off. But there is more that I want to do. This is currently one of Pox's builds, Pox's RF Chieftain League starter, which we switched to early in the first week when we realized that melee physical damage, bleed character damage, equipment went through the roof price-wise, and it was really hard to kind of make those jumps going up, so I decided to switch entirely, and it's completely paid off. We're now pretty much fully built. There's only a few things on this build that I want to kind of work on. And I do have plans to take it in another direction. So if you want to see what I'm going to be doing soon and you don't want to hear the blurb about what we got right now, timestamps are in the description. Feel free to jump ahead. So, I will preface this by, I have been quite sick. I am still sick, so please bear with me. I have been working and all that stuff. I'm not your regular PoE streamer that plays PoE, you know, constantly. Some people probably played more PoE on the first launch 72 hours than I have played in like 2 or 3 weeks. I spend a lot of time AFK. I have a lot of other stuff going on that I have to do. And I'm probably pretty casual when it comes to PoE. Now that said, we have completed our build, and there's not very much here that I would really change. I've got 2 pieces of gear that I could change, which is my helmet. The next steps to making this helmet better is basically to start throwing hundreds of divines at the stupid thing, and I don't want to go there. I'm not interested. I don't really need that for this build. It's excessive. And a hunter Stygian vise, probably. But that requires, again, a lot of currency crafting it or buying it. And you don't need it, because this current build I have is pretty much, every time I've tried to math it in, you have to have like a ridiculously good hunter Stygian to actually outperform this. So I'm not even interested in working on that. The Immortal Flesh is just amazing. So gear-wise, I'm going to start at the beginning. Our weapon. I actually bought this because I couldn't be bothered to craft it, and it cost me like 40 divines at the time, which is whatever. That was like a little bit of stack deck farming. All of my money, by the way, all my currency has been made via stack deck farming and Harbinger farm, primarily stack deck farming because it's easier. And it's just kind of like lazy farming, you just have to click a lot, which is whatever. So I bought this dagger. Crafting it I wouldn't suggest, because you can't guarantee the level 2 fire spell gems. So you can get the damage over time multi-fractured, and you can kind of roll until you get the spell skill gems. But unlike the amulet, you can't remove an affix, add a fire affix, and guarantee that it's going to be fire spell skill gems, which is why these things are so expensive. So I would recommend just buying these if you're getting one of these, because it just takes out all of the RNG of you getting kind of pooped on. Alternatively, you could just be really lucky and you'll make it for like a couple of divines. I would, but that's whatever. So this helmet, again, I just made this using essences. I just threw the 30% more elemental damage essence at it, and it just happened to give me concentrated effect and burning damage gems, and I was like, that's it, that's done. My only regret is there's no available prefixes, but you'll be damned if I'm gonna risk rolling on this, because as of right now, this thing is like a 30 divine helmet or something. So yeah, that's quite good. I have my amulet, which I crafted myself. Again, like I said about the way the dagger doesn't get to do this, the amulet does. You get a fractured damage over time multi, get +1 to all skill gems, and then you basically can craft the multi mod, and then craft like attack skills can't be rolled, and then you know, whatever other mod you need to kind of fill the last gap, and then you just go in with an with a craft the plant thingy with the life force. You remove an affix, add a fire affix, and boom, guaranteed +1 level 2 fire skill gems. Then I basically just went prefixes cannot be changed, and I hit it with an Aisling Orb to give myself more fire and chaos resistance, and it leaves me a suffix or a prefix to kind of craft whatever I wanted. I just wanted life, so we just put life on there. My shield, again, kind of the same way as the helmet. You just spam the essence that does 30% increased reservation efficiency and see what you get. I was quite lucky. I got like a tier 2 fire res, I got life recovery on block, and I had a huge amount of armor, and I still had an open prefix to craft life. So this shield is absolutely nutty, and I really like it. That was just essence crafting. I got these two rings are pretty much identical. I spent like 8 or 10 divines at the time to buy T1 fractured life on my amethyst rings. And then I basically was just hitting them with I believe it was like Reforged Fire until I got a tier 1 fire res and a chaos res. In this one over here, however, I was doing I believe an essence. Was it an essence? Yeah, essence for the dexterity, because this build kind of needs dexterity, so you kind of have to craft it onto one. But basically the whole point was either essence dexterity until you get a T1 fire res, or just reforge fire until you get T1 fire res. I got chaos res on one of these, which is really cool. And then again, you know, I had my suffixes done, my prefixes are locked, so I do suffixes cannot be changed, Aisling Orb, more fire, chaos resist, and more strength and intelligence, which intelligence is quite important because I bought the wrong dagger. Rather than getting a dagger that had a dex requirement of 91, I went and got the one that had a dex requirement of 149. So unknowingly to me, I actually saved myself a 40 divine mistake. So, you know, keep an eye out for like the intelligence requirements in your dagger when you go to do that. But yeah, so that's basically my rings. They came out really nice, really polished. As you can see, I still had, you know, I still got prefixes free. So if I wanted to use this for a different build, I can always just change the 17% damage for something like non-channeling skill mana reduction, which is kind of fun. My armor, Cloak of Flame with +2 socketed duration gems. You're probably thinking, like, why is +2 socketed duration gems? Well, when you put the trap, the fire trap in the body, which I have, I'm still missing an empower. I took the empower away. It's so irrelevant that you don't need it, but it's kind of the next step to taking the damage up. The damage on my fire trap is already like over 1 million, so I don't really care. But yeah, so why the duration? Well, Trap and Mine, Awakened Swift Affliction is duration, Life Tap is duration, and the Fire Trap itself is duration. So these all benefit from that, and it's not the most expensive corrupt, and it is what it is. Again, we crafted these gauntlets now. 19% life regeneration rate is a must if you want to manage your degen. These increase life regeneration rate, because we have unique belt and we have a unique boots. We don't get this anywhere else. You have to have this on your gloves. Again, I went and paid extra so that I got the I got the fractured version, because I don't like not getting what I want. You'll notice there's a trend: T1 life fracture, T1 life fracture, dot multi fracture, increased life regeneration fracture. If I don't have to, I will always opt to go with a fractured base so that I get at least the mud that I want. Then, as you can see, all we've done here is reforge fire until we got fire and chaos, the same as we did with the ring up here. We got life on top of that, and, you know, added more life. It just adds to our DPS. We managed to roll all of the Eldritch implicits that we wanted, which is great. Easily done. I've never used the Hordecraft station as much as I have this league. Usually because the previous leagues have had like OP crafting mechanics where you haven't kind of done that, so I've been taking that for granted. But that's really good. My belt, I bought this really early on, and I just added. I got the best rolled one I could find. It was really cheap at the time too. And then when you like give it life catalyst, it basically, the only way to get a better belt for this, for your life regeneration and max life, is you have to basically have T1 life Stygian, T1 increased life regeneration Stygian, T1 regenerate life per second, and then, you know, fire resistance on the suffixes, and you know, actually no, you want percent increased life probably if you're going for the hunter. But my point is, like, very like, you really have to have an amazing Stygian and jewel to actually kind of outperform this belt, which is crazy. And these boots, you know, giving immunity to chilled and frozen is really nice, and the approaching flames is a really nice damage increase. Adrenaline is amazing. Yeah, I never used these boots before, but I can completely see why you use them. Again, because they're not crafted boots, you miss out on the life regeneration rate, which I did actually craft some boots here. Excuse my mess. Again, I got a T1 fractured max life, and then I managed to get increased T1 increased life regeneration rate, T2 fire res, T1 chaos res, and as you can see, I've just crafted movement on, which is not really important. But that's for what comes next. So that's basically my gear. I do have a lot of jewels in here. These are quite expensive. Obviously, because we're using malevolence, we have a mortifying aspect on a small cluster, another small cluster with our max fire res on, and damage over time and increased life. Again, we've gone burning bright prismatic heart for our large cluster, and it's basically a lot of the same, right? Fire damage over time, increased life, burning, fire damage over time, increased life, burning. Like, this is all the same, apart from this one. You can see it has fire damage over time, increased maximum life, corrupted blood cannot be inflicted upon you, which saves me a point on the passive tree, which is going to be ridiculously useful, and plus 12 intelligence, because as I said, I bought the wrong sword dagger base. I got the one that required a whole load of intelligence. Don't do this. But it allowed me to respec this. So this is the only jewel that doesn't have burning damage. And as you can see, we're only level 97 at the moment, so we still have more leveling to do, and we will get to that. And I'm going to jump to the POB now, because this build, I'm not going to be running this build to level 100, I don't expect. I do have plans to change it. Again, I'll get to the changes that I'm going to make in just a second, but we're just going to transfer over to the POB here. Alright, so this is the POB right here. You can see that our gear is exactly the same as what I just went through and showed you here. None of our flasks are actually turned on, because I never account for my flasks. Configuration wise, Soul of Lunaris, Soul of Ralakesh. Time spent stationary, because we do stop, move, stop, move, stop, move to maximize our damage. Frenzy charges, yes, because we use Blood Rage. Life tap, yes, because we're constantly spamming like bombs and stuff. Endurance charges, yes, because we get those on kill and on block. Adrenaline, yes, because our boots. Have you been hit recently? We literally can't dodge, so yes, we're always being hit. Have we blocked recently? Pretty much yes, always. Am I ignited? Is the enemy ignited? Pretty much yes, always. So it's not really important, doesn't change anything. And it's set up for Guardian Pinnacle bosses. So as you can see here, our DPS on Righteous Fire is 1 million. It's not currently 1 million at level 97, but you'll see part of the reason why I actually went to the effort of getting corrupted blood can't be inflicted so I can get rid of this is so I could get more life. I was refusing to have sub like 6,400 to 6,500 life, because life both does damage and obviously survivability. So with the extra 3 points from 97 that you saw we have 6% max life, 5% max life, 4% energy shield, 5% max life, 4% energy shield. Now why these ones that give energy shield? It increases our degen. However, we don't really care about increasing our degen because it also increases our damage output and it lets us have a nice number up here. Taking these away, you will see we actually drop sub 1 million on our RF. So my goal was to hit RF 1 million, my life, you know, nearly as close to 6.5 as I could find it, and this is basically how it came out. And all I generally did was kind of shave off corrupted blood and put it on a jewel. The burning damage loss is nowhere near as much as we gain from having all of this life. And that's basically it. That's the build. I'll link the POB for this in the bottom. Now, I mentioned taking this in a different direction, and if you saw what was in my inventory, you can probably make the assumption of where we're going now. I'm just going to jump to that right now. Alright, so this build isn't actually one of my making. The other build isn't actually one of my making. I ended up following an RF, like the RF League started, and I was like, right, that's really cool. And then I got a video recommended to me, which I will also link down below. Well, I'll link the channel down below. The video kind of out of date. The person likes to make a lot of updates on their videos. So it's constantly changing. But essentially, it is a AFK Chieftain. Again, it's RF. It uses a bunch of other stuff, but the whole goal is I want to farm some Simulacrum. I want to try farming some Simulacrum. And, you know, I have a lot of stuff going on. I don't have a whole lot of time to play, but I do have a lot of time to be AFK. So the whole point of this is to use a combination of jewels to basically be able to farm these Simulacrums without actually being at the computer. Or only having to, like, press a button every now and again. I've never done anything like this, but stuff like this really I find entertaining, like immortal builds. If you've ever seen my Elden Ring videos, you'll know I like the idea of never dying. And this so this build basically operates around using Blood Notch, Immutable Force, which is basically like, you know, you have no stun downtime, so when you get stunned you basically don't care, but you'll be re-stunned again really quickly. You have the Blood Notch, which basically means 58% of damage taken from stunning hits is recovered as life. It can go up to 60, mine is only a 58. And again, I do have a Defiance and Destiny Amulet. I have a really good one that recovers 24% of missing unreserved life before being hit by an enemy. So my life is going to be all over the place. I'm really kind of looking forward to this. I was going to play with Penance Mark and stuff like that. I'm going to make some changes as I go to this person's build that I'm going to be trying out. So I'm going to make my own version of this. I always say if you're going to use a build guide or someone else's build as a template, you should approach it with like a grain of salt, because you're both working on the basis of what you have access to and how much currency you have, and you should be willing to kind of change it around what you find rather than trying to carbon copy what the other person has found, because very rarely, unless you're really, really mega rich, you won't one for one what someone else has. So you have to be kind of like ready to change stuff. And there is some stuff that I want to try doing differently than this person. So that's where we're going. I don't know if I'll have that by next week or not. Hopefully I will. If you're interested to see how that goes, and the other person's build explanations or whatever doesn't satiate you, feel free to come back, and next week I have another update, and hopefully I'll be feeling better too, so I've actually gotten more done. And that's pretty much it for this video. That's where we are in the league. That's where we're going. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask below. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully I see you again next week. Bye.